Good morning, everybody. How are y'all doing out there? I hope y'all are doing just fine. Welcome back to Louisiana Homestead, and thank you all for subscribing. Those of you who haven't, I hope you'll consider it. Today I've been working out in the garden. It is very hot. It's almost 10 o'clock here and it's getting pretty rough out there. But when I got up this morning, what I did was I made me some bread dough and I put that rising, which is double in size here. And yesterday we made some omelets, and this is what's left over from the stuffing of them. What I intend to do is cook that stuffing a little bit. I'm gonna roll that dough out, put that stuffing on top of it, roll it up in the same fashion as you would a cinnamon roll. Cut it in the same fashion you would as a cinnamon roll, put it on my pans and bake them. And I think it's gonna make a very good lunch. So that's what I'm gonna be doing today. There's always so much to be done around here. I also need to cut some okra today, some tomatoes. Well, I need to pick some tomatoes because the chickens have got in there and they have found some of the lower hanging ones, so I definitely have to get those out of their reach and get them in. I plan on trying to make some tomatoes, so I'm getting some of those together. I have some already out in the outdoor kitchen ready to, I don't know, I'm just trying to stockpile them so I have enough to actually can. So I should have enough pretty soon. My only problem is I'm kind of pressed for time. My computer's been giving me trouble and I've been back and forth. The Best Buy where I bought it from, they've been repairing it, and I've been back and forth a couple of times, so I'm getting a little frustrated with that. But anyway, I have to go back and get it again tomorrow. Hopefully it'll be fixed and I won't have to go back again for a very long time. But anyway, that's cutting into my time for what I need to do around here. And when this garden stuff is coming in, the live produce doesn't wait around very long. You have to get to it when it's ready, really. It's hard to wait till you're ready. You have to do things when it's ready. So anyhow, I have all that to do, and I've been having to water because the rains have stopped and the ground is drying up so fast. It's any little bayous or anything that I've passed by in the last few days, I've noticed they are dropping very, very fast. So the earth is just soaking the water up. I'm having to water my garden here actually every day in the morning. I try to go out in the morning and water because I feel that's the best time to water. Some people like to water in the evening, but to me, I think I'm taking a chance with a mold or a fungus or something like that coming on. When you water in the morning, it has time to evaporate off of the leaves, so the water doesn't hang around and have that chance to make a mold or a fungus or something like that. So every morning I try to give my garden at least an hour's work, but in the last few days it's been taking more than an hour. So anyway, I'm just talking to y'all while I'm doing this, trying to get this stuff cooked up, get the water cooked out of it, because you don't want any of that when you roll it up into your bread dough. Oh, I'm fogging y'all up. My stove is a mess. It's something else I need to do. It's just like I'm behind on everything, guys. That's why y'all hadn't seen a video from me in a while, because I'm trying to keep up with all the work I've got going. I got clothes to wash, floors to clean, animals to tend to, and of course Mr. E's doing his part. He does a whole lot around here. He does way more than I do, probably. Actually, I know he does, but we're both constantly busy, and when things start coming in the garden, it's really a very busy time. And then with this computer thing thrown in, me having to go back and forth to Alec, me having to go back and forth to get this computer fixed, bringing it back here, bringing it up there, that's really cutting into my time. And also, of course, I have relatives, you know, and of course also I have my mom I have to check on, which I love her, and you need to be intentional about visiting your parents when you still have them, because once they're gone, you really that's when you really start saying, boy, I wish I would have spent more time with mom or dad. And you can't do it then. So when you got them, make it intentional, make time for them, and go and see them. Go and see them, because when they are gone, they're gone. So go see your parents. Spend time with your family. Make it intentional. Don't just do the little Facebook and the little texts. Go and spend some time with them. It means a lot to them, and it'll mean a lot to you too in the future. So do what you can with that. Okay, I see this is getting about where I want it. I'm gonna let it cook just a little bit more, because I have those tomatoes in there, and those are watery. I got tomatoes, I have onions, peppers. There's also some sliced up turkey in there, like the turkey lunch meat, I guess you would call it. It's smoked turkey slices, and I've got that chopped up in there also. This is going to make a good pinwheel. I've done these before with ground meat and cheese. You can do them with all kind of stuff. You can be very creative. You can roll up whatever you want, sausage, whatever. Okay, my battery's going dead. I need to change my battery. Well, I went to get my pans out to do my pinwheels, and I realized I don't have my pans in here. Where are they? And then I realized I had another project going, because I got 100 million things going. And I had made some hash browns to freeze, and they're in the freezer. So I got to get those out. Okay, here's the hash browns. I already robbed 2 of them out of here and cooked them and ate them. But I need to get these out and put them into some Ziploc bags. So let me grab some Ziplocs. And I'll break these out of these molds. You can see what I did here. I got these little silicone molds from Temu. And what I did was I parboiled some whole potatoes. I washed them real good with the skins and parboiled them, and then I shredded them and put them into these little forms and froze them. And that way I can have some frozen hash browns easy and ready to go, instead of buying them at the store pre-made. It's the same thing, except these probably don't have, well, these definitely don't have any preservatives in them, but the ones you buy at the store may. I'm not sure if they do or not. But since we grow our own potatoes, and I want to preserve them in any way I can, this is one way that we use them, and it makes it a fast, easy meal sometimes, like when we're working out in the garden all day, and of course that makes you starving, and you got to come in and find something to eat. You can't just eat Cracker Jacks, you know, you got to have something substantial. And if you have something like this, it can go a long ways in making a meal a lot better and a lot more hearty. And it doesn't have to be just for breakfast either. You can use these with your supper or lunch, whatever. So this is going to give me quite a few. Some make-ahead meal. Kind of. Part of one anyhow. They come right out of here. You see how easy they're coming out. Okay, so that's all of that pan. And then I did these. These are a different shape. I just used what I had. I didn't have any more of the round pans, so I did these, which will be fine as well. And I'm just going to freeze these, pop these. I'm just filling up my Ziploc bag. When I get it full, I'm going to pop it in the freezer and store it on another Ziploc bag. Okay, so this gives me one full bag here. That can just go in the freezer like that. And I need to get the rest of these into Ziplocs. Okay, on to the next thing. This is our silicone mat. My sister gave me this. She got this from Temu. And you can't see, but it has little fine holes in it. Not all the way through it, but just to kind of make it a rough surface. And that little bit of rough surface, what it does is it holds that flour down in those little tiny holes. And you don't have to have a whole bunch of flour to be effective to roll out your dough. It sticks in there. You probably can't see it on the camera, but there's a fine, fine layer of flour that's stuck down in those little holes there. And what it does, it keeps you from wasting your flour because it has it directly where you need it. Now I'm going to push some of it off to the side, but all this area now is fully floured. So let me get my dough and start rolling it out. I'm not going to want a circle, I want a rectangle for what I'm doing here. So let me get it. The dough looks good. It rose double its size. We're going to pull it on out of here. Look at there, it's coming right out. All right, we got our dough. Let me put the bowl down. And we got a little extra flour here. We're just going to lightly flour it so that our pin won't stick to it, because as you can see it was very damp. The dough was very damp. Pick that up, and since it picked some of my flour up, I need to put that some back down here. Okay, and I'm going to flour the top of it as well. I'd rather my dough be damp than dry because it just makes a better bread, I find. A lot better bread. Okay, I'm going to try and push this out. Before I roll it, I'm going to actually try to push it out. I think I'm going to knead it just a little before I roll it out. It's going to make it really nice. A nice fluffy bread, like I call it, with lots of air in it. When you roll it like that, you're trapping air down in that dough. Okay, that's good. Hands up a little. I don't want to dry my dough out. I just want to. Okay. I think we're getting it about where I want it. It's a little sticky, but that's okay. I'd rather it be a little sticky than dry. There we go. Doing good. Doing real good. All right. The dough feels nice and elastic. Just what I want. Okay, I think we're gonna need a little more flour on top here. And a little more on our mat. Sorry about the squeaking shoes, y'all. just came in out the garden, like I said, and I'm trying to hurry up and get this meal together because I gotta get back in the garden. It's gonna be so hot out there. Okay, let's get some of that flour down into this mat, like I was saying, how it works. All right, we're gonna start working this into our rectangle shape. Okay, because I want to roll this up like this and be able to cut it. I don't want a circular shape because that's not going to give me the roll and the coverage that I want. Look at there. See, it comes right up. Okay, let's see if we can roll this in and put a little flour on this. It's got some air in it. That's good. That's what I wanted. You hear it popping, the air in it. Awesome. It's just what I wanted. When you roll that air into it like that, folding that dough, it makes a really nice bread. Okay. It's rolling up good. And I'm going to cut this with some dental floss. A lot of people say don't use mint dental floss. Well, that's what I use. That's what I have, and I've never had any problems with mint flavor in what I was cooking. So I'm a big advocate of use what you've got and make it work. And I think some people make too big of a deal out of that, not using that mint dental floss to cut your bread with, because I never had any problem with it. Okay, it looks like it's going to come up good. I'm ready to spread my filling on it. Hey, here's the filling. Let's get that down on there. And it had a little time to cool because I had to go get those hash browns out of the freezer and bag those up. So this isn't piping hot. It did have a minute to cool. It's still warm, but it's not steaming hot like I just turned it off or something. All right. Get this spread on here. Now this is going to be hard to spread with this spatula, so I'm just going to use my hands. It's going to make this job a lot easier for me. If you just can't stand using your hands, use the spatula. But for me, I just have better control over making a more even layer with my filling here. Because it's not a thick filling, you can see that. It's just barely covering the bread, the dough rather. You just want it to cover the dough. You don't want a big, thick filling in there, okay? Because it's not going to do right if you try to fill it up with a big, thick filling. It's intended to be a thin layer. And it's very hard to get an even thin layer with a spatula, I find. So I just use my hands like this. Okay, I think that's pretty good. And now I'm going to begin rolling it. But before I start rolling it, I'm going to clean my hands. Okay, now we do want to make a nice tight roll. The tightest roll we can. So let's do that. Let's start lifting our dough, rolling it. We're going to roll it long ways. That's what I'm choosing for mine. I'm going to go long ways like this. And I'm going to tuck it under there. You see that? I'm tucking it, kind of pulling the dough in. Because I want a tight roll if I can. Let me put a little flour on my hands. I think that's going to make the job a little bit easier for me. Just handling it so it's not sticking to my fingers. But like I said, I like the dough. Look, I got a little hole here. I'm going to patch it. like patching a jar, kinda. Okay, that'll work. That'll work. It's rolling up pretty good. I don't have any complaints, except for the dough's a little sticky. Right. That's okie dokie. I don't have a problem with that. Alright. Now, we got it rolled out like we want it. Now we're just going to cut it. What I'm going to do is take a piece of this dental floss. It's about a foot long, maybe 15 inches long. Just going to go along and start cutting it. Okay. So I'm just going to ease my dental floss under there, loop it, and cut it like that. And then the pieces are going to go in my pan. These pans already had some parchment paper in it from when I did the potatoes y'all seen me take out of them a while ago. And I'm just going to reuse that parchment paper. I don't have a problem with that at all. You can reuse parchment paper a time or two, as long as it hasn't been too long since it's been used. You don't want to use something that would maybe have rancid oil on it. That definitely would not be good. But you see there? These are going to be good, and once they rise, they're going to be really nice. So I'm just doing these about almost an inch thick. You see that? It's almost an inch thick. And setting them onto the pan. And go through my whole roll like that and get them on the pan. This cuts so much easier than a knife. If I had a knife and I was gnawing at this, I would be pressing that dough down and smashing it. Instead, this gives a nice clean cut, and it works very much better than a knife would. A lot better. Now, if you don't have some dental floss in the house, you could use some sewing string. That would work good too. That would work just fine. Like I said, use what you have and make it work. I had made these before with a different recipe. I had used ground meat and onions and peppers and made these rolls, and they was very good. You could use a chicken filling. I mean, you could use any kind of filling you want in these. You could probably use a tuna filling if you want it to be creative with it. So I think I need a little more flour underneath my roll. Okay, just to help me slide my dental floss under there a little easier. Oh yeah, much better. And just keep on going with it. It works so good. I love it. Once I get them on the pan, I'm going to cover them up with a damp dishcloth. And I may even spray the tops of them. I made some olive oil spray the other day. I may just spray the tops of them and cover them to keep them from drying out. But look, here's a nice pan of them. And I think I'm going to give them a little room to rise. I might spread them out a little bit more and put the rest of them on another pan. Okay, I'm going to use this pan. Like, I had two pans for the potatoes that I had did earlier, the hash browns. And this is them, so I'm just go on ahead and use this pan also to give my little pinwheels some space to rise so they can be nice and full. You could put cheese in these, which I actually wanted to put cheese in these and I forgot, but that's okay. You can put cheese in them. You could do, like if you had some canned chicken or something like that, or you could, I mean, you could cook you some chicken and you could fill them with that. It doesn't have to be the exact feeling that I'm showing you here. You can be creative and roll these up with whatever you like. Give it a try. Once you master that bread dough, and I find it does take a little while to master bread dough. Do it a couple of times and you'll get it right. I made some olive oil spray. I'm just going to spray those real quick to help keep them moist while they're rising. And I'm covering them with the side that I rolled them on so they don't stick to it. There we go. Perfect. Let's see how much our bread has risen and put these right into the oven at 350, and I'm going to check them in 25 minutes. Okay, they are done. I had to brown them a little bit at the very end with my broil, but they cooked basically 25 minutes. It is very, very good.
It's crazy good.
There's Mr. E. I ain't seen him in a while, but he did taste the bread. And what you said about it?
It's crazy good.
Okay, we're about to eat, y'all. Thank y'all for watching, and we'll see y'all on the next one.
Thank y'all. Bye. Bye.
Bye.